Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 12. This is NXT TV. We're going to get straight into the action this week. There will be absolutely zero announcers time tonight. In a decent bout that had decent wrestling but little heat, the Authors of Pain defeated Ho Ho Lun and Tian Ben in 4 minutes when Akam defeated Ho Ho Lun via pinfall. The Authors of Pain continue their dominance here in NXT. Razor and Akam don't work together. This is just absolutely confusing. I have no idea why their timing is awful. This is disappointing. I'll have to look into it. I may cheat and go into the editor for this one thing. But Ho Ho Lun and Tian Ben were absolutely great together, which is great because I was just putting them in there because I needed some enhancement workers. So I'll mark that down. The camera finds William Regal backstage as Sanity's leader Eric Young walks in with his group behind him. Eric Young says that that's bullshit. He has to compete in the NXT Money in the Bank qualifier matches, and he demands to know why he's in the match and why he isn't automatically entered in, given he just faced Bobby Roode and should be the NXT champion. Regal reminds him that he's not and asks him to slow his brakes, but Eric Young just goes off again. William Regal wishes him luck tonight and asks him to leave, politely, Britishly. Eric Young is upset but takes it, then turns around without question and asks who he's facing. Regal just smiles and wishes him good luck. Tonight, Eric Young will be facing someone who's been in NXT before, who's on a one-night deal. Obviously, Eric Young will be hitting the NXT Money in the Bank, but it should be fun, because why not? And in an extremely short match, the returning Adam Rose loses to Eric Young in 4 minutes by the wheelbarrow neckbreaker. Eric Young of Sanity defeats Adam Rose. The fans were really in tune and really having fun with his returning Rosebud's gimmick, if only for one night only. He's been shortlisted, but Eric Young gets the victory and will be joining Mr. NXT as the qualifiers in the NXT Money in the Bank match at NXT TakeOver. All right, next still to come tonight, the main event. DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tomasso Ciampa face the new It Factor, Blake and Murphy with Velvet Sky at ringside, as the two will square off again for the first time since NXT TakeOver Chicago. And, you know, Blake and Murphy really don't like DIY, as we've touched on. They're the former flag bearers of NXT Tag Division, and they don't like that DIY is trying to claim that throne right now. Up next, and about that featured decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Candice LaRae defeats Nikki Cross and Ember Moon. When Candice LaRae defeats Nikki Cross with the Balls Plex, Candice LaRae is your victor, your number one contender to Peyton Royce of the iconic duo's NXT Womens Championship, and she will be going to NXT TakeOver to take on Peyton Royce for that championship. Nikki Cross sustained a Potts fracture. I'm not sure what that is, but she's injured, it looks like. That's not good. All right, next. The Glorious's theme hits and it rains down as Bobby Roode arrives on the ramp with his NXT Championship over his shoulder and makes his way down to the ring. Bobby Roode has a microphone in hand. Bobby Roode says that despite all the odds that were stacked against him, he was glorious in his championship defense at NXT TakeOver Chicago, and he is still the NXT Champion. The crowd cheers. Bobby Roode says that the NXT Championship is in such good hands, Regal had to borrow the Money in the Bank idea from WWE to ensure someone could get a champion shot at him any given time. But that's alright. He is glorious. The fans cheer. Bobby Roode says that given the Money in the Bank leaves him without a challenger for NXT TakeOver Deep South. That's right, that's the name, Deep South. The first person to walk through the curtain, whoever it is, will be given a championship match. The fans start to cheer as Roode arrogantly waits for someone. Anyone. Roode holds up a mic and asks anyone, but is cut off by the sound of Curtis Axel's theme. Bobby Roode seems intrigued as the fans cheer for Axel's surprise appearance here on NXT. Axel says with a microphone in hand that some may know him as Curtis Hennig, some may remember him as Michael McGillicuddy, but the Axeman is here to accept Bobby Roode's challenge for the NXT Championship match. The fans cheer as Bobby Roode tries to back off his championship match, saying he was just joking. This cues William Regal's music to hits, and he comes out with a microphone in hand as well. William Regal says that this isn't terrible, and it isn't the worst idea, and Curtis Axel has quite the resume, huh? William Regal says that given all the top challengers given all the top challengers he would have accepted to challenge Bobby Roode for the championship, this is a suitable replacement. And so, per Roode's request at NXT TakeOver Deep South, Bobby Roode will defend his NXT Championship against the first man who walked through that curtain, Curtis Axel. The fans go nuts as Bobby Roode looks like he's just made a huge mistake as the Axeman, Curtis Axel, has debuted here in NXT and will be in a match against Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Deep South for the NXT Championship. We get a split screen again of DIY and Tomasso Ciampa DIY, Tomasso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And then the new It Factor, Blake and Murphy with Velvet Guy walking towards the ring because the main event is coming up next. Next week, though, in the NXT Money in the Bank qualifier series, it'll be Aleister Black taking on Elias Sampson, with the winner joining Mr. NXT and Eric Young at NXT TakeOver Deep South for the Money in the Bank briefcase match. But in the main event, in a decent match, DIY defeated Blake and Murphy in 13 minutes when Johnny Gargano defeated Murphy by submission with a Gargano escape after blatantly cheating thanks to Velvet Sky. During the match, Velvet Sky ran in and attacked Johnny Gargano, causing the disqualification. So DIY wins. Don't read that, guys. DIY wins via DQ. Thanks to Velvet Sky absolutely distracting and then hitting DIY with a chair. I don't know why that didn't come through, but that's all right. After Velvet Sky nailed Johnny Gargano with a chair, as you can see I had it laid out, Blake and Murphy began to lay into Johnny Gargano and Tomasso Ciampa repeatedly. The fans boo as Tom Phillips wonders what the new It Factor Blake and Murphy's problem with DIY really is. The duo with Velvet Sky stand over DIY again as NXT fades out with DIY yet again not fairly getting their hands on Blake and Murphy thanks to Velvet Sky. DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tomasso Ciampa are laid out by the hands of the new It Factor to end NXT Season 1, Episode 12. So 50, not enough interesting storyline, popular in 34 regions, costs 11. This is brutal, guys. We gotta get these numbers up. We gotta get these numbers up. These overness ratings of 25 and 30 for DIY, and they're just absolutely terribly low. So we gotta keep working on them, but that's all right. This was NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 12. And when I say this is all right, I really enjoy booking the stories more so than the ratings, but I do enjoy the ratings as well. Anyways, so lastly, again, this was NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 12. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back in a couple days with one of the next 4 more NXT television shows as we head down the path towards NXT TakeOver Mid-South. Thanks for watching.